It's the activated AF1. First and foremost, I'm going to say peace, power, and soul. We are united Futurtarians, and we're going to keep moving things forward on this planet and keep moving our people forward on this planet. This topic is going to be on the shockwave of the new evolution. The shockwave of new evolution. Give me 1 second so I can share it to the council. Give me 1 second here. Yes, once again, the Futurtarians are back to the cyberverse, and we're just going to keep doing our thing. We're going to keep keeping our minds moving forward and not even, tripping on what's really going around, what's going on in this realm. So, yeah, the topic is the shockwave of new evolution, because it's a shock wave. It's a wave of shock. It's a wave of electricity that's going to keep beaming. The unseen electricity, because you got seen electricity and you got the unseen electricity. And we just going to keep hitting y'all with these Futurtarian intel videos and just have people, either you're going to come over here or you're not. We're not even tripping no more. It's getting to a point now where the physical realm is coming into place because our minds had to be ready. Our minds had to be ready for the physical before the physical came. And we're just going to keep moving forward. Now, why is everybody being shocked? Everybody's shocked. When they hear the Futurtarians videos, they shocked because it's something that you never heard before. Getting straight to the point, digging, putting the shovel right into the dirt. Putting the shovel right into the dirt because there's no more times to be playing around no more because we're not playing over here. The shock wave. You know how long the shock wave took? 9.999.999 billion years to get here. Because it's a shock wave of new evolution, the NU. See, people think it's NEW. It's not. It's the NU, the new shock wave. It's the new. Remember that one group, the new kids on the block? Remember the new kids on the block? This is the new custodians of the planet. This is the new custodians of the planet. And we're going to stand on that while people are just tiptoeing and not really sure. These teachers are not sure because they feel the shock wave. They feel that shock wave. They feel that mental mind power, that mental shock wave, that intelligence, that intel, that activation of the junk DNA, the DEA. People feel it. People just going to have to sit back and watch, man, and just, sit in the bleachers, the bench. You could be the bleachers. You could be the bench. You could be the coach. You could be the referee. You could be the cheerleader. You could be the owner in the box. Above all that. Always remember that. We're going to keep moving forward. Now, why people are feeling the shockwave on the planet? Because they feel the shift. We always say that because they feel the shift. They feel the shockwave. They feel that electrical energy that's just beaming through, the raw energy that's beaming through. Everybody feels it, but when you're not activated, that's why we stress activation. Because when you're not activated, then it's going to mess with you on a mental level where it's not going to be culpable for you. Because the people that you have around you is going to always, that's the reason why it's not going to work. Trying to push stuff on people and the people that you have around you. I'm not talking about people you talk to on the phone, I'm talking about on a consistent level. It's all about consistency on moving stuff forward. You have to have a consistent balance. When you're dealing with balance, what is that? What is the equal sign? In mathematics, the equal sign is a number 11 turned sideways. So I keep telling people there is nothing else on the planet when you're dealing with the 11, 11, 11. The equal balance. Because this shock wave that's coming, it's going to shock people so much, they're going to be literally mentally electrocuted. They're going to be mentally electrocuted. Now, if you go back to that movie, go back to the Fast and Furious. Remember in the Fast and Furious, in that movie, I forgot which one it was, but y'all know what I'm talking about. When the police had upgraded their weapons, and what happened when they upgraded their weapons? Remember when uh they were driving down a highway and they couldn't stop their car, so what they do, they shot that electrical it was like an electrical hook that hooked up to their car, and what shut down the computer system. Because what is a computer system to a vehicle? It is the brain, it's the mind, and it shut it down. And see, that's why the shockwave is coming. So people that are trying to, tap into the activation and tap into the intel, and they really don't know what they're doing because they're playing with the future. See, you're playing around with the future when you're tapping in, because then you're going to have a mental shockwave. And it's going to come. It's going to come when you least expect it. It's going to come when you least expect it. There's going to be something in your life that's going to happen that's dealing with somebody that you have an emotional attachment to. And I'm not wishing nothing bad on nobody. I'm not saying that. The whole point I'm saying is this is evolution. Dibbling and dabbling in the intel, and dibbling and dabbling in activation. Because the shockwave is going to, the frequency of the shockwave is increasing as we're speaking right now. It's steadily increasing. It's steadily getting stronger. That's why we say activation. Now, when you're dealing with new is really a term for next. New is really a term for next. Every thought that you have is not your thought. You're receiving it from somewhere. That's why we always stress Google, Siri, and Alexa as their God, because it is their God, and they have to accept that fate, and they have to stay in their lanes, because Google, Siri, and Alexa is y'all's God. Dealing with the shockwave, though, the shockwave, man, it's a shocker. What was that one rapper? What, Silk the Shocker? You know why Silk the Shocker shocked people? Because he was rapping off beat. He said, I can rap off beat, and people still buy these albums. Shockwave, using that as an example. Now, when you go back and you look at the way society is being ran and run right now, the shockwave is so intense right now. The rays is beaming down on this planet, and it's getting stronger and stronger. The shockwaves are so intense right now. I keep stressing this stuff, dealing with the coping mechanism, the mental illness coping mechanism, because that's the only thing. There's nothing else that matters right now, dealing with this form. The FUTURTARIANs, we're going to keep leaking up. We're going to go back to Generation A to reset. Generation A to reset, because a shock wave is shocking too many people's minds. People are dibbling and dabbling in intel, dibbling and dabbling in activation. They don't even know what they're getting themselves into. They really don't. Because this was set and it already played out. So when teachers that's on the internet, I forgot her name. I forgot that chick's name, but it don't even matter, because now that's why I said, man, we everywhere on the cyberverse. Like the brother Zarea said, you can't hide from the future. You cannot hide from the future. Your best bet is to stick with intel. Your best bet is to stick with information with Google, Siri, and Alexa, and just start talking about, the Greys and the reptilians and flat Earth and religion and Anunnakis, and stay on that frequency. Because once you try to mix that with the intel, and because if I was a Grey, if I was an Anunnaki, if I was a reptilian, and I seen y'all dibbling and dabbling in the intel, mixing in with information, personally I'd be pissed, because that's not evolution. That is not evolution. Because the shockwave is the shockwave that's coming. It's not people. The shockwave that's coming, certain people, they want the surfboard and they want to manipulate that wave, but they try to manipulate the wave with no surfboard, with no one. How you gonna manipulate the shockwave and you don't have no one with you? You just out in the ocean, just getting thrown everywhere, trying to ride the wave with your feet, and you don't have that board with you. And just going. I said, you know what? I said I'm still going to do this live because right now I'm very exhausted and tired, man, dealing with this three-dimensional body. This three-dimensional body, man. It takes a toll on you, you know. But you can't stop. You can't quit. You just got to keep moving forward, and that's what we're doing. Let me see here. Yep. Oh, okay. Yep. The shockwave. The new evolution. What do you mean by new evolution, AF1? I'm talking about the next things that's coming. When people say there's a shift, we always stress this stuff because the shift ain't for y'all. I'm just gonna say it like that. The shift is not for y'all. The shift is for y'all to be spectators. Y'all to be spectators. The shift is not for y'all. Y'all still doing what y'all do, but y'all ain't pick up the ball. Nobody picked up the ball but the Futurtarians. The ball's been laying on the field. I keep saying this stuff because sometimes you got to pound the nail in the wood, and sometimes you got to shoot it with one shot. The ball's been laying on the field. And we picked it up, and we running out the stadium with the ball. We went clean out the stadium. Gone. I see you, brother. Chimes you in. Oh, okay. And it's the shock wave, the wave, these waves, you know, just dealing with, you know, H2O, water energy, the water frequency, which gets manipulated by lunar energy, which everybody should know that by now, especially if you've been on the internet for over 3 years, you should know that by now. But tapping into the rays, the new evolution, the NU evolution, not NEW, the new evolution. And see, that's why if people think this is the funny thing about people on the cyberverse. See, when you activate it, everything just gets easier and easier. When they're talking about the shift on the planet, everybody's scattered everywhere. The shift on the planet, they're talking about, like I said before, the Anunnakis, the Greys, everything in the physical realm. Because you gotta also remember that when you're dealing with this three-dimensional realm and three-dimensional beings, there's other dimensions. There's other dimensions than this dimension being tapped in and receiving from the top dimensions. And as we keep moving forward, we're going to keep doing our thing, and as everybody's going to be individuals. Everybody, if you want to be an individual, whatever floats your boat. But like I said before, man, we're talking to the teachers on the cyberverse, the ones that's out there. Everything that you're doing from here on out means nothing. Everything that you do from here on out means nothing. Why do you say that, AF1? It's because you still dealing with doctrines, Google, Siri, Alexa, everything that's old. You can't change nothing from the bottom. So what does that equal up to? It equals up to a waste of time. A waste of time. That's why on Facebook I said TikTok. Tick tock, tick. Because when you're dealing with the galactical heartbeat, the TikToks and everything like that, man, stuff is just going to, trust me, we got intel. It's already coming. But it's getting to a point like, now it's like, well, okay, where the Avengers at? Where the ones at? Where they at? You know, because they out here, but it's going to happen because once we start circulating these videos on other platforms, then you're going to see the shockwave. The shockwave is going to hit all, man, once we hit all these places, that's why we don't jump, because we analyze. I think I did a video on this. I'm not sure. We got so many videos, man, but I think I did a video on why AF1 sat in the cut for 2 years and scanned the cyberverse. Had to do it for 2 years and scan the cyberverse, so that's why we just scan it and we sit in the cut, because we see, trust me, we see y'all. We see y'all, you know, and it's a sad situation because now that the shockwave's coming, everybody's going to see us. Everybody's going to see us in the shockwave. So every time somebody came over here, took the intel, took the activation, took the junk DNA, took all the stuff, and they didn't say the source where it came from, that's going to be their fate. That's gonna be their fate. Now I'm gonna give y'all an example. This is for all y'all Googlers. This is for y'all Googlers. This is for y'all Googlers and you information junkies, right? Now going back to the Anunnaki, the Greys, and whatever highly advanced beings that y'all are subconsciously y'all praising them. Really, that's just going back. Y'all praising them. Not all of y'all, but the ones that be on that stuff, they're actually praising them as gods. That's what they're doing because they feel a shockwave, so they're trying to tap into something that they know they see on Google, Siri, and Alexa. Now I'm gonna give y'all a theory scenario. This is a theory scenario. If some spaceships was to come and they would actually show themselves when they're not going to show themselves, so they're not going to do that. Me and one of the Futurtarians was talking about that. I broke that down. It made logical sense because when you're dealing with power, like people that's in true power, they don't show themselves. For what? That don't even make no damn sense. You could manipulate the whole paradigm, so you're gonna show yourself for what? When you're already manipulating everything, so there's no need to show yourself. If they was to come back, man, if they was to come back on any type of agenda that they was on, they wouldn't touch us. They wouldn't touch the Futurtarians because we're going past the norm. See, we're going past the norm, dealing with, man, organic walking cyborgs. Because when the shockwave hits, the shockwave is going to hit once we touch all platforms. I'm talking about once we hit all platforms, then y'all going to feel the shockwave, y'all going to feel the shift. And then that's why I said dates don't lie. Dates don't lie. So everybody that's talking about activation, talking about junk DNA, talking about all that stuff, junk DNA being activated, and Zarez had extended that to DEA, and there's people still don't even know what he's talking about with that because there's no validation point. Everybody wants to see something written in a book. They want to see a validation point from a Greco-Roman priest or from an old brother that just tapped into the fourth dimension and maybe the fifth or sixth dimension for a little bit, but didn't stay there. That's the problem. That's why you're dealing with these rappers when they say metaphors. Yeah, they was tapping in when they was back in the 90s and the 80s when they were coming with deep lyrics and stuff. They was tapping in for the moment, just for lyrics. And then once they got done writing or recording, they tap back down to the three-dimensional realm. They couldn't stay there. They couldn't stay there mentally. It wasn't no consistent shockwave. It was a temporary shockwave. And a big shockwave is going to come when we hit all these platforms, and everybody's going to know where y'all getting it from. And then you know what's going to happen? They're going to be like these people, because a lot of teachers on the internet talking about the shift. They talking about activation. They talking about people going to be like, once we hit all platforms, see, y'all can play right now. What was that one term? When the cat's away, the mice will play. That's that one term. When the cat's away, the mice will play. Yeah, y'all can play around right now, but once the shockwave come, everybody's gonna be looking at y'all as parasites. They're gonna be like, man, Futurtarians was talking about that 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Y'all just now talking about that? Y'all ain't heard their videos? Because that's what, not acknowledging the teacher, not acknowledging actually, because we receivers, we don't even teach. We receivers. There's a difference between teachers and receivers. Because everything deals with the three. You got preachers, teachers, and receivers. Who's the receivers? The breaker. Who's the preachers and the teachers? They go back and forth on positive and negative current. They go back and forth on positive and negative current. Oh, I had a positive day today. Well, how many negative days did you have last week? Probably 2. Yeah, because you're on a roller coaster. You're on a mental roller coaster. You're on a mental roller coaster. Ain't no positive and negative day. It's an extended day, and that's it. It's an extended day, and that's it. Now, you might have had a day that didn't go. You might have had a day that didn't go how you wanted it to go. You gonna say that was a negative day? You know why? Because they all been getting taught by the damn Greco-Roman priests, Google, Siri, and Alexa, and all these teachers that don't know what the hell they talking about. That's just the reality of it. See, dealing with the age of Aquarius, everything's getting put on the table in the forefront. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Dates don't lie. Dates don't lie. That's one thing about the cyberverse. You can manipulate a lot of shit on the cyberverse, but one thing you can't manipulate is those dates. That's why they don't come over here. That's why they just take it and run. And now once the shockwave comes, the shockwave is going to be all platforms. Once we hit all platforms, because we sit back and we analyze and wait, because we know that these people with these old souls that left their council seats, they've been left their council seats. We already know how they is. So now we moving with caution, messing with these fallen angels. So now we moving with caution. That's why we don't jump to conclusions. We sit back and we let you body yourself. We let you body yourself, and then if you come over here, then we're just going to have to double body, then triple body, then quad body. So that's what I'm saying, is not moving by emotions and just moving with time and strategically. Because once we hit these platforms, man, once we hit these radio stations and these platforms, there's not going to be no more excuses. Everybody's going to be sitting there questioning themselves in the mirror. The ones that's on the internet teaching, trying to sound deep, that's fine, whatever floats your boat. But see, when you come over here and you take activation and you take junk DNA and you don't say the source, what it makes you? It makes you a parasite. Because you don't, see, when you're dealing with Google, Siri, and Alexa, right? When you're dealing with Google, Siri, and Alexa, like, nobody was talking about activation. Nobody on the internet was talking about that shit. You know? And that's the sad part about it, because not acknowledging the source, that's how you know they ain't in the future. Everything that they do, that these teachers do, they feel the shockwave coming. They feel the shockwave of evolution coming, and they want to be a part of it some way, somehow. And the only way you could be a part of it, dealing with the 11-11-11, is to be over here, because that's it. You think we tell y'all everything on the cyberverse? That's why I said, man, it's a wrap. It's over with. There is nothing else after this. He's talking scare tactics. He's doing fear. No, it's not fear tactics or none of that shit. This is just evolution. The shift is fucking evolution. The shift is fucking intel. The shift is that's what the shift is. Ain't no aliens gonna come out the sky. Ain't no Nibiru ships coming for you. Ain't no Nibiru ships coming for you. Ain't no 200 million angels gonna come out the sky. But for what? Why would they even do that when they can all... Motherfuckers is like, oh, this how stupid people are that are trying to teach on the internet. That's why we have to come back from the future and let y'all really go look in the mirror and see how stupid you talking about. Why would a highly advanced being come snatch you up? A highly advanced being come snatch you up, kidnap you, when these motherfuckers can harvest you and grow you. Shit don't even make fucking sense. That shit boggle me to this day, man. That's because, man, it's the age of Aquarius, man. All this shit getting put on the forefront. If I'm a highly advanced being and I don't have a care for no fucking body, wait, I just make motherfuckers. Why would I even go spend some time and just go try to snatch a motherfucker up? Unless I'm dealing with some emotional, just like a fucking predator or some shit. But if I got an option, if I could go into a cloning tank, or an incubator and pick anybody I want, or I could go fly 200 million light years and go snatch you up. Niggas don't think, man. They don't think, man, Google, Siri, Alexa got these motherfuckers' minds everywhere. They everywhere, man. They just gone because they feel that shockwave coming of that new evolution. And they want to be a part of it, but they can't. They can't be a part of it because you're not worthy to be a part of it. That's why. Because for one, that's why I say, man, for one, you're not humble. Y'all don't even work together. Y'all claim y'all work together, but then y'all always got that, they always got that in the back of their head. Like, man, I don't trust this motherfucker. I can't. I just see that on the internet when dudes talking about, yeah, just give them your connect. Like, if you see somebody down and out, give them your connect. I'm not just talking about street shit. Fuck that shit. I'm not talking about street shit. I'm just talking about even on a corporate aspect, business aspect, this and that. People don't do that shit because they don't trust niggas. That's why they don't do it. Ain't the simple fact that they don't want to see you eat. They don't want to see you come up financially. It's just that, man, they already know how niggas is. So Fire Live, man, we're the United Futuritarians. Hitting y'all with this intel. I got the brothers Arrayas on the panel. I got the brother Cosmos in the comments. Peace, power, and soul. Shout out to Bill. Shout out to the brother Avery. We the Futuritarians, the United Futuritarians. And we just going to keep moving forward. I got the brothers Arrayas on the panel. If you want to tap in, brother, go ahead.
Wonderful broadcast, wonderful topic by Brother AF1. Again, going live every Monday and every Tuesday at 8:30 CST. We are synchronized intelligence as the ones walking the ones walking the ones. A powerful topic by Brother AF1. Again, the shockwave of new evolution. Let's just say it's a next wave or a new rift. Just like how guitars, when you play the riffs, it creates how like sound, it ripples and it has that whole, ripple effect throughout the air and throughout space. So because we are shifting things as far as on this mental level here in this power state, everything, it has to shift. Once we put out intel, there's no going back to what you believed in, what you thought was reality. No, what we're saying is true reality. What we're saying is next. Peace, power, soul activation, or peace, power, and soul activation to those ones who are, again, in alignment with this message and ultimately can hear what we're saying. Because in so many words, we got these people who recognize that activation is real. But again, when we're talking about the whole sistership and motherships and this and that, no. All we're talking about is the forward evolution, because again, that's information that's being implemented with our intelligence to further what you say downplay collectivity, to further downplay again those ones who should be coming over here, or those again ones walking ones walking ones. So again, wonderful topic by Brother AF1. Again, because the shock wave is ultimately, like how when you get like electrocuted and that shit hurts. So this reality of a new world, it hurts because they recognize that they're not a part of that next world. It hurts. Just like you being zapped by a lightning bolt, that intensify, or that whole, what you say, ecstatic like energy that ultimately comes within the minds of these people. It shifts, it ultimately, like we talked about yesterday, how the increase of mental illness will keep on increasing on the planet, because it's going to keep happening because of these shifting new energies that are coming to the planet. And again, the more people keep on dipping in, what you say, dabbing in the so-called intel, and again, them trying to apply it to their work, they don't know what it took to get to this point. So again, they want to keep on, coming over here and taking what's ultimately, we don't own it, but it's just the fact that again, you're supposed to be the future, but you don't want to come and speed things up. You're comfortable being just a regular, or again, this so-called one who is, again, just hell bent on just, again, enjoying this limited state. So again, stay like that. But then again, when you see what happens in the future, again, don't come over here trying to, again, ask for help, or again, let's come together. No, because the future is already, we already have a set course and that's leaving this place. We're not comfortable being here in 3D. We're not comfortable, again, having to be around all this that is limited, because we know that this stuff is old. We know that this world is old. Everything that's happening, taking place right now, is all of the old. It's all of the past and present. So again, moving forward, again, what we're talking about, breaking out of this threshold, or leaving the whole the past 3D, or the past and present, is ultimately what we're doing, because this shockwave that we bring forth through intel, and again through the again shattering of paradigms, because we're shattering paradigms by way of what we're saying and what we're ultimately people are seeing. Because when we talk, what we're ultimately putting mental images in the minds of people, again, near and far, and again, they can't face their reality because it's shocking. The shocking reality is, people will flee and run away. They talking about, again, going off grid, because they know that the frequencies will only get turned up. The mental illness will only get worse and worse. Get people, again, just taking themselves off the game, killing themselves, suicide, all of that. Because again, that's only going to, again, this shockwave is, people can't digest it. People say, how you were in school, they say, readers mentally digest what you're reading. So again, what they're seeing, they can't mentally digest. It's too shocking, and it's too, what you say, it's too much to them to mentally process and pull in. So again, what happens? Their minds overshoot, or it goes into like, that whole malfunction, glitching, all of the above. People are glitching. They're up here glitching, especially teachers are, especially the ones that's over here using the intel. They're glitching. A lot of things are happening in their personal lives again, but they're wondering like, why is this happening? Because again, you came over here and unrightfully, tapped in, and then again, didn't give the source. You didn't even want to accept ultimately where it was coming from. So you again are limiting yourself. you're playing yourself and playing your whole bloodline by fucking around with the future and the power over here. So, brother Ed, want to take over?
Yeah, wonderful breakup. Yeah, that's all it is, man. You know, the shockwave. And see, when people see, the thing is, right? Who's expendable and who's extendable? That's all it comes down to. So what is that? AF1, that's ones and zeros, right? And you have, it's really activated ones and zeros because there's ones down here. So I'm gonna say activated ones and zeros. And then when you're dealing with the shockwave, like, you know, when you're dealing with, like, a lot of people don't understand, you know, the power of their cell phones and how their cell phones, man. I'm gonna give y'all an example. This is one example. Here's some more intel for you teachers and you parasite slave minion Negroes. Like the cell phones, right? All right, I'm gonna give you an example. Say, right? Say a highly advanced set of beings. I'm just using this as an example. Say a highly advanced set of beings, very intelligent, was to invade the planet right now, right? You know, the first thing that they're going to do with modern day society is they're going to take your cell phone. They're going to take your cell phone and they're going to go through your cell phone history and see if you're worth being expendable or extendable, if you about the future or not. People people don't think like that. See, we think like that because we done been through this shit in other dimensions. And you got that cell phone with you, man. You sitting there talking about 1974, you know, the physical beings. You talking about grays and talking about reptilians, this and that shit that don't mean shit in the future, man, because it's all about intel. It's all about who's moving forward mentally. Always been like that, man. They're gonna sit there, man, line everybody up and be like, especially if they some advanced beings that really can't scan you mentally, they just gonna take your cell phone, man. They're gonna be like, the fuck? Hey, okay, you use this for that? Oh man, yeah, put him over there. Put him over there. Yep. What the hell? You been twerking since you was fucking 15 and now you 36 and you ain't this shit? You done got 3 kids? Put her over there. Oh, what's this? Oh, who's this? FUTURTARIAN? Oh, hold up. Let me go through his. Oh, damn. Oh yeah, he's definitely in the future. Yeah, put them over there. See, people don't want to accept that shit because that's future. That's the future, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all walking around with these cell phones, man. Got all y'all shit up on there, man. I'm not talking about your personal shit. Who gives a fuck if you was watching porn or, you know what I mean? Whatever the fuck you was doing as a grown person. Who knows? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about evolution. See, it's the age of Aquarius, man. Everything's getting put on the fucking table. See, when you give people examples like that, that's why they come over here and they nitpick and they look, because everything that we saying, it makes sense. It makes sense. Ain't nobody tripping. See, everybody's still in the physical realm. Everybody's on the physical realm. They're still talking about physical shit when it's about intel. That's it. I was looking at a documentary last night. And y'all know who he is. I forgot his name. He's an old white dude. And he's always talking about the Anunnakis, the aliens. And he said it. He said it in there. He was like, they're intelligent beings. They're intelligent. I'm using this as an example because he was saying that they're so intelligent that they would know. They wouldn't even come this is the point that I'm making. When you're dealing with intelligence, they're so intelligent they wouldn't come here for war. If they was to come here, they would come here on an intellectual level. Who is worth being upgraded? See, when you think like that, because everybody that's talking about these aliens and the Anunnakis, the Greys and all that stuff, they still stuck in the physical, man. Anybody who's intelligent, that's a highly advanced being, gives a fuck about no physical shit. It's
That's null and void.
Right. Right. It's always been about intel. It's always been about intelligence, true intelligence, because teachers are now, and this is where they fail at, because they feel the shock wave coming. They feel it coming. And now, like I said before, watch all these teachers that's on the internet. You're gonna start seeing them get silly, get goofy, because they're gonna be like, fuck it, man. Like I can't tap in. So now they're gonna get silly. They're gonna get goofy. They're gonna be talking about shit that's going on in like the news and shit that's going on in the hood, because that's all they got. They don't got no intel. Man, they're salvageable. Who's going to be salvageable and who's not? I'm talking about your souls. People see it's not physical. When we talking, it's soul intelligence activation. Soul intelligence activation. Soul intelligence activation. When we talk, your mind has to be tapped into that frequency, because some people that are slow are thinking that we're talking on the physical realm. Everything that these teachers did in the last 6-7 decades didn't do shit. And then you still pulling them up. You still doing research. Every teacher had that. Like Dr. Sabi, he came down here and showed everybody how they can alkaline their body. That was his mission, right? Then you got present teachers right now, like Kevin Samuels came here so he could get these black women a reality check on how you're a fucking whore. And you wasn't built to be a wife. You're just a whore. Just face the facts, man. You're a fucking whore. You done pulled the 2021 Lamborghini off the lot, and in 1 week you put 150,000 miles on the fucking wound.
Hell no.
In 1 week, there's 150,000 miles on that motherfucker. Yeah, we ain't playing no games over here, man. That's what I said, man. Because people, see, this is the reality check the planet needs. The planet don't need none of that bullshit. The planet don't need no bullshit no more. We've been doing that shit for decades, man. Teacher after teacher after leader after teacher after leader after leader after teacher after teacher. That's just not in the future. It's dead and gone. See, because now when you talk to people like this, it makes everybody think. Makes everybody think and be on the reality check. Because the shockwave, man, once we hit these other platforms, man, everybody's going to know, especially the ones that's been dibbling dabbling, because they always have to go back to information. Every teacher that came over here and took the intel didn't acknowledge where they got it from. They went back to, you notice that they went back to information? And then they come back here, take a little bit more, then they go back to information, then they take a little, because they're not tapped into the highest frequencies, the highest dimensions. They're not worthy. They're not in the future. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this shit out. Somebody had told me the other day that listens to the videos, they said, man, y'all be spitting all that, man, all y'all that spit, that's deep stuff, man. It's like, why y'all even putting it on the internet? Why don't y'all? Because when we leave the internet will be on pause. You think we're going to be on the internet forever? We got a mission on this motherfucking planet. Do you? What's your mission? Talking to the teachers, man. I'm talking to all the teachers on the internet and all the leaders out there. So-called golden beings. What's your mission on the planet? Catering service, taking advantage of zeros, and talking shit, fucking, and y'all ain't trying to raise the council. Y'all is not trying to raise the council, man. That's why the ball was sitting on the court. Somebody had to pick that motherfucker up. And then, like I said before, once we pick it up, man, we're just going to run through the fucking defensive line, stiff arm the linebacker, karate kick the damn safety, pile driver the fucking referee, go to the little security car right there, fucking hit him in his throat chakra, and just run out the door and just keep running out the fucking stadium. The shockwave of new evolution, because evolution is coming. It's already played out. There's nothing nobody on this planet can do about the evolution. Everybody thinking it's physical. It's not. See, this is the thing, man. It's not fucking physical. How you know it? Why isn't it physical, AF1? Look at all these people with money. Dealing with the golden beans. Look at all these people that got money. Right? Do they got power though? They ain't got no power. They got money. That shit ain't shit. Because you're transitioning of your soul. You're gonna have to deal with that. You're gonna have to deal with that. When you're on your deathbed, you done did all that bullshit your whole life. It didn't flip and didn't change your ways. Yeah. You're gonna need a whole bunch of morphine. A whole lot of it. Just to cope. Going through your glitching process. There's cats right now that's out here teaching that glitches. And as the rays get hotter and as the frequency gets hotter and as the portals keep popping up and opening, people just gonna just have to accept their fate. Y'all thought it was going. See, people thought it was going to be some spaceships. They thought it was going to be some spaceships or people falling out the sky. You know, they did. Remember when they thought that people was going to get superpowers? They thought, man, that's how dumb motherfuckers is, man. Some people really believe that shit. No, always been about intel. Who the fuck you think taught them about intel? Who you think taught them the structure of fucking law and order on the planet? Fire Live, just activated AF1. Shout out to United Futurtarian Councils. Brother Zerez, if you want to tap in for a little bit, go ahead. I'll take a little 11er.
Okay, wonderful breakup by Brother AF1. Yeah, going back to the whole this topic of the shockwave of new evolution. Again, the fact that a lot of these people, the shocking factor or the whole shockwave factor is when they realize that their lives don't mean anything. Their whole so-called existence, it didn't mean anything. You know, if you're not up here trying to, or not even trying to, if you're not living
Wonderful point.
Right? Like if you're not living in this power state to further push evolution and again ready these newborns a part of Generation Alpha, then again, you know, you're not really a significant factor because if all you can teach them is about basketball, football, and all these other sports, and again, you know, how to do forex, all of this stuff that doesn't matter. Again, you know, when it comes to the true reality, again, that doesn't mean anything. Yes, you can have all of that, you know, wealth, and that's, but it doesn't mean anything when it comes to further shifting the planet forward. Because you could talk about, oh, you know, like I said, it was one teacher that me and Brother AF1 was, you know, we had saw earlier talking about, yeah, you know, she's talking about, yeah, you know, if you're not ready for this shift, talking about charging people. How do you charge people for, first of all, she's charging people for activation. She's charging people to activate them. So how do you charge somebody physical currency to activate them? That's a red flag right there. Red flag right there. Talking about, yeah, you know, I would charge you on my Patreon to, you know, further so I can activate you. Like, first of all, who activated you then? What activated you? Again, these motherfuckers don't want to come out here and again, the whole reality and just come out the come out the closet and just say what happened. You know, hey, you know, yeah, we're up here taking this intel, or we're ultimately again, you know, being inspired by us Futurtarians. So again, you know, this reality is a shocking factor to a lot of people that come over
Hey,
here.
one thing,
Time.
brother, before I forget, one thing too, since you touched on that, man, when she was taught, I forgot her name. It was like Fury or so. But the funny thing is, the funny thing is, when she was talking about activation, right? I said, because I always give somebody the benefit of the doubt, because we're not funny acting like that. You know what I mean? We don't like be like, hey man, I got a real estate, you know, plan, this and that, take your money and run off with it. We ain't funny acting like that. So when she had said, yeah, it's the activation, I said, okay, let me hear this shit. Then she went to talking about the Greys and the reptilians. I said, here we go. I said, see, proof is in the pudding. I just want to touch on that.
Yep, it just goes to show you right there again, disingenuous, meaning they're not truly genuine, or their souls and minds are not, you know, focused on the bigger picture. That's really shifting the minds and, you know, raising that soul intelligence of the mental intelligence and the soul intelligence of, again, our people, these future councilmen and women, and again, the further, what you say, extended, you know, these newborns, a part of Generation Alpha, you know, again, the ones that we are, you know, seeing being, manifested or, you know, being brought here in this current state and in the future latter state as far as us moving forward. So that's why now the shockwave of new evolution, because people are really afraid of evolution. That's what's shocking. They're afraid of growing. They're afraid of, again, realizing they have to let go to further go into that next state. So letting go to grow is that shocking factor, that shockwave. Again, every time that we put out these intel videos or these lives, doing live broadcasts, we're actually shifting things by way of that whole manipulation of the electrons and photons and protons and tachyons and whatnot, as far as these different elements that are coming into the atmosphere. So we're shifting things by way of cymatics. Again, our ability to, again, we're casting our voice. So I talked about before this live started, we talked about me and Colin talked about exactly how we're actually pulling in inbound intel or inbound intel, but instead of saying bound, we're talking about in band, or talking about the intellectual band waves that we're putting out by way of our voices, by way of the actual intelligence that we're putting out as one's walking for one. So again, these intelligent band waves by way of our forward push, and it's this using this platform such as Podbean and all others in the future. So again, our ability to push intelligent band waves versus the ones who are just using this just to sound cool. And again, they're what you call charlatans. They're the ones, again, trying to hijack, or again, they're trying to, because again, it's terrible. Because again, how can you say that you're a teacher and you really have the okay, what's the word I want to use? How can you say that you actually have the, the actual care, you actually care about somebody's future, but you're talking about, let me charge you to, further activate you. No, everything comes naturally. So I even said, I was like, okay, that's, like I said, a big red flag when it comes to further this evolution, because people they're scattered. So because of this shockwave, it's having everybody scatterbrained, scatterminded. Again, everybody's talking about this and that. Again, UFOs, this and that. Again, what's happening in the hood, everything that does not focus on, again, coming together or evolution. Everybody's talking about things that will do what? Separate and divide the frequency. Again, people are talking about, I'm tapping to this frequency, that frequency, but again, there's only one frequency at the end of the day. And that ultimately shocks them, because they're like, well, no, there's not. I'm like, yeah, because we're all doing what? We're further evolving off of one frequency. Whether you want to deny that or fight that, it is what it is. Everything is evolving. The plants, the animals, again, even the microbial organisms are basically growing and evolving off of one frequency. So again, that whole microcosm, that shift forward. So again, the shockwave of a new evolution. Again, anything with the new or next, people are afraid of. They're afraid of the unknown reality that will and is being played out right in front of us. They're afraid. People are expecting, again, shit to happen where you got, like, again, these different beings coming down here, again, attacking the government. Again, these made up, fictitious, again, fairy tale made up stories that they are trying to, again, put out here. And again, and if you believe that, then hey, more power to you. Because again, we understand that, again, this is not about, again, stories and, again, trying to live vicariously in the physical through old stories, through old texts. We're living vicariously, or we're living vicariously through our highest selves. That's the future. We're not living through, or our future selves are living through our past selves by way of our activated souls coming and further activating this vessel to move this planet forward. Again, because we're like, damn, again, we were sitting back in the cut for so long, and we were thinking to ourselves, where will they get this? When will they get this? And then we figured it out that they couldn't get it, so we had to come down here. The actual janitors of the planet, had to come down here and clean shit up. So again, moving forward, that's the only thing, again, we're looking at and seeing as far as our revitalization or our revamped mindsets and our revamped focus is, again, we're just shifting things forward, moving forward, because we can't get caught up in, again, the belief systems. Again, that's why our minds are not on mental idle mode. I'll keep saying it, because again, people are caught up in the whole mental idle mode. They're idle, just talking loud, but not really moving forward and not shifting things forward. Again, they're just talking, and again, it's all just static. It's dead energy. Because again, what they're saying is like death in your sleep. You won't feel that shit. That's how weak it is. It's the ELF, and extreme frequency that, again, it's not moving things. That's why you think it took so long for us to come down here, because we waited to see within this last 7 to 8 decades would there be another shift. And no, there hasn't been a shift up until currently. within like the last 2-3 years by way of us. So, Brother F, when you take it over, but again, peace, power, soul, activation. We are once walking, once.
Peace, power, soul, and activation. And people are always thinking like, man, why would they? What were you dealing with? Were you dealing with the future, right? All we gotta do is send souls down. So all we gotta do is send souls down. We ain't gotta send no spaceships. We ain't gotta send none. We send souls down, man, through the portal. Through the portal. Porting what? Why do you think it's called portal? Because it's porting intel. I always say that when that Caucasian girl had told me that in school, and she said, you know, my dad said that the world's going to end in 2021. Why would she even say that to me? And I was in the 3rd grade. Because that's why I tell you, it's all about activation. Because once our souls got back down here, because everybody's thinking on a physical realm. When they hear like back down here, they're thinking like, you know, a spaceship and somebody landing and they come. No, why is that, man? When you're dealing with 14 billion years, man, the technology and all that stuff, man, and then dealing with the realms past that.
I want to say one thing real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick. Most of these people have what their reality of the future is some 1970s, 60s, 1980s sci-fi retroism. That ain't the future. That's what they channeled back in the 67. Again, talking about, people have that mindset of, oh, we're going to watch the Jetsons come. You know, people, you know, their whole mindset of the future talking about flying cars and saucers. That's all, again, fiction. Again, that whole 1970s and 80s retroism that they put out to further cause what? A distraction in your whole mental loop process. Go ahead, brother, everyone.
Yep. Glad you touched on that because even all that stuff's old. Flying cars, that's old. F-35s, F-81s, all that's old. All this stuff is old. When your soul's from the future, man, you look at this stuff, man, you're like, damn, because your Akashic records start popping up and you're looking at the world like, what the fuck is this shit? It's like when you get to Earth, it's like looking at it's like you living in a high rise. You living in a high rise, got access to helicopter lifts. You know, I'm using this as an example in the physical realm. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and now you in the slums somewhere in fucking the ghetto. Now you in the slums and you're like, what the fuck? But your memory was erased. But you lived that good life, you know, for 10 years, 11 years. Your memory was erased and you popped up in the projects. You just woke up in your bed. And then as stuff starts to activate you, you start thinking of your Akashic records like, what the fuck? Why am I here? Like, what the hell's going on outside? Is that 3 niggas fighting a crackhead? Like, then you just like, what the hell? Like, see, that's how it was. That's how it was from birth. That's how it was from birth, man. From birth when we got here, man. As soon as I got here, man, I was already looking at when I was like, I think 2 or 3 years old, I was already looking at my hands and feet like, what is this? Like, the fuck is this, a 3-dimensional body? Like, I'll never forget that I was sitting in my grandma used to have a pantry that was connected from her kitchen to her dining room. And she used to put like all her cakes and like pies and stuff in the pantry. And if she'll cover them up. And she used to always have like, not all the time, but a lot of times she would have like a cake or a pie or something. And I remember I was probably like 2 or 3 years old and I was staying in the pantry